much pressure. You want to be below that threshold. Mine here is not tender at all, okay? So I'll hit that a couple, 2-3 times like this, real deep and slow. What I'm doing is, if I was up here, I'm sinking in and then dragging the tissue more than sliding across the top. This is where we're getting into deep tissue. So you sink into the depth that you want. Don't change the depth. Don't increase the depth once you're set, because that can injure the muscle. So along here, I get the pressure that I want, the depth that I'm at, whatever I choose for my comfort level, my tolerance level, and then drag it across there. And that separates the fibers of the skin, the muscle, the fascia, so that instead of having muscle fibers that are doing this from scar tissue, they're sliding like this, right? When we have a spasm or I have orange stuff on me now, that's what that stuff is on my hands, orange pen. Say these are the muscle fibers, they're supposed to slide like this, right, and contract. When we get a trigger point or a spasm, it'll start to stick, and then the body releases the stress hormones, cortisol, like we talk about, prednisone and stuff, and then it just heals it really fast so it becomes a glob. And so that part of the muscle is then limited in range of motion. It causes pain and discomfort because a muscle that would normally be this big is only functioning like this. And then especially if you go to do a athletic motion, part of the muscle is glued down and it can't do the full range of motion. If you force it through, then it tears, and then the process is compounded again, right? So we want to sink in to whatever pressure, as much as we can handle without hurting tissue, and drag it under your fingertips rather than sliding. If you can only tolerate sliding right now, then it just needs more time, more frequency of light work and hot and cold packs back and forth, always finishing with cold. So I'm up here at the upper tendon now, and same thing, I'm sinking in pretty deep. You may not go this deep, but I'm just kind of showing you, what my technique would be for you. And it's such a small muscle, it's easy to cover everything in the entire muscle in, say 15 minutes. We're on almost 11 minutes right now. So we've done light up here, light, a little deeper here, little deeper lengthwise. Sorry, that light is so bright it almost cuts it off, huh? And then we did along this tendon, we did this tendon. Now we're going to sink into the belly. And this is probably where you may notice trigger points, little teeny spasms, they might feel like a little button, a little grain of sand. And that's an area of ischemia where the blood supply is cut off. So instead of the tissue being smooth, it contracts up like this and it's a little knot. The easiest way to work them is to hold pressure when you find them. And the easiest indicator is tenderness, right? So I'm just going to cruise along here at about an 8 of depth, looking for trigger points, working that entire muscle. Don't be afraid to go out and around that particular muscle because there could be trigger points out there. Okay? And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. You would do maybe 20, 25 deep strokes till you feel satisfied.